Hi there. What are Labour hiding? That seems to be the question everyone's asking at the moment, regarding their refusal to do an inquiry into the rape gangs. So I think the answer, in actual fact, is very simple. Kemi Badenoch read out a long list of towns at PMQs yesterday. The thing they all have in common is they all have Labour MPs. Now, a lot of those Labour MPs were councillors at the time when all this stuff was going on. That means they probably knew all about it, or very much aware of it, and didn't do anything about it. And also, of course, a lot of them are Muslims, so you wouldn't expect them really to do much. Labour is very much reliant on Muslim voters, so it doesn't want to upset them. So why are they covering up? Well, they're covering up simply because they don't want anyone to know what those Labour MPs knew. And that's what you want the inquiry to do. You need to know who knew what when, which previous inquiries haven't actually looked at. And Starmer himself, of course, be worried that when he was DPP, he didn't really do anything about this until he's virtually on his last legs. He's about to leave the job when he actually took any action. So it's pretty safe to say he knew a lot more before that, but didn't want to do anything about it because everyone was afraid of affecting community relations, because most of these towns were heavily inhabited by Muslims, and he just didn't want to upset that, so he turned a blind eye. And then perhaps he just thought he had to do something when he was leaving. So where do we go from here? It seems unlikely that Labour will do anything, although they have left the door open slightly by saying, well, they're open-minded about it. But they are going to fight tooth and nail, I think, to do anything. And even if they did say let's have an inquiry, the terms of reference to it will probably be so tight that they'd make sure they were covered anyway. When you're in government, you don't have an inquiry unless you know the answer beforehand. That's the basic idea. So you fix it to make sure you get the answers you want. Now, the only other thing at the moment is Reform saying that if Labour don't have an inquiry, they'll have their own. To a great extent, I think this is really Reform just grabbing a headline and doing a bit of sabre at them. The thing is, these inquiries cost a lot of money, which they haven't got. They'd have to try and get from somewhere. Now, let's not say they can't. If they can raise it, well, it's up to them what they do with the money. But basically, it doesn't have the statutory element to it. So whoever they get to run it, and they're looking at retired judges and so on, they won't be able to force anybody to give evidence. And if you can't do that, you're kind of wasting your time. And it's no good saying that, okay, well, if you ask someone to come forward and they don't, then, you can make up your own mind there. There's obviously something pushy about it. It doesn't really do that at all, because even then, it may raise questions, but it doesn't give answers. And the whole idea of an inquiry is to get the answers, and then you can act on the answers. You can't act on supposition and maybes. It just doesn't work like that. So I think even if Reform did that, it'd just be a exercise in grabbing a headline and nothing will come from it anyway, because when it comes to the end of it, it would just be ignored, because it wouldn't have the kind of information coming from it that's needed. So that's what I think anyway, that it's really just covering Starmer's backside and a lot of his MPs' backsides, and there's no way on this earth that he is going to do an inquiry unless he's actually dragged kicking and screaming into doing it. And there we go. So I expect, as I've often said, we'll see what happens now. And we'll leave it there. So you can like, comment or subscribe if you want to. And that, I'll see you the next time. Thanks very much for watching.